Welcome to Money Talk. I'm Jesse Torres.
And I'm Aaron Michael Sanchez.
All right, Aaron, Wednesday, 4 o'clock, Money Talk. And we've got a great lineup today. We've got three great guests. We've got Angelica Urquijo, who is going to be talking to us about brand and image management and the use of social media, which is kind of interesting. You know, I think now that the internet is the new resume, now that really you're not anyone unless you're, on the internet, on social media. She comes from a classical training in PR, and she's adapted her classical training to the new media. And so we're going to be talking to Angelica about her and her group, the Imagen group, or the Image group, as it's referred to in English. We've got Angelica Urquijo with the Imagen group. Angelica, welcome to Money Talk.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Yes,
Welcome.
yes. So, Angelica, you heard me briefly introduce what it is that you do, but why don't you, because you have such an interesting background, I was doing some research. You actually started your career, I believe, as a beauty contestant, and then you were a newscaster, and now you've sort of moved from being in front of the camera to being behind the camera and coaching others in terms of how they can manage themselves in front of the camera. Can you sort of walk us through how it is that you got to where you are and the evolution of the Imagen group?
It's interesting when you say I started my career as a beauty queen, and what I did, not realizing, like many folks, we realized we need to change. I was very quiet, and for me, that was the best approach, is getting in front of people, a pageant. For some people, it might be Toastmasters or heading an organization. So I guess that was, and now I look at it, that was the beginning and the foundation to what I call my personal brand. I'm a proud...
Let me stop you there. So I've seen myself in the mirror, and I've seen you, and I can tell you there's no way Aaron or I could be beauty queens. So...
Speak for yourself, Jesse.
We all have beauty in our own ways, right? It comes from the inside, and I think you don't have to be in a pageant to realize it. And that's what we do when we talk to businesses is really how do you uncover something that comes from the inside, whether you're a business owner or within your own business, is how do you tell your story. So I guess that working as a broadcast journalist really reinforced that and laid the foundation that today is critical, is really kind of telling the story. So I'll fast forward, I did spend 10 years in front of the camera as a broadcast journalist, as a reporter, then as an anchor, doing a lot of different pieces, medical, business pieces. And then fast forward, then went on the other side of the camera and working in PR and marketing, helping organizations tell their story. And unfortunately, in times of crisis, also preparing executives by providing them with media training so that they can then are armed with the tools to be able to respond to any tough questions that a reporter might pose to them. So today,
that's a great point. The crisis management piece. I think so many businesses fail to think about what are you going to do in the event of a crisis. And Aaron, if you recall, a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, we were talking about the whole U.S. Airways issue, and we consistently talk about disasters now that we're hearing more and more about that are social media related. And Angelica, I think you're spot on in terms of helping these executives sort of prepare being in front of the camera. Now, let me ask you this. So you had 10 years of training. Do you one of the things that I hear a lot of small businesses say, I'll talk to these folks and say, you need to develop a not only a marketing plan, but within that, a public relations plan, and try to get in front of reporters and things of that nature in front of the camera, because it's a great way to at least get a quick shot out as part of your overall marketing strategy. But a lot of them say, there's no way I can get in front of a camera. I mean, you coach people to be able to do this, right?
Yes. And like I said before, I would have never thought that I would be in front of the camera delivering the news at 10 o'clock every night. I was very quiet growing up, and I basically forced myself to do things that would help me with that. And so when we work with people, we really kind of try to uncover what are their fears, what are they concerned with. We do a lot of role-playing. We actually tape the sessions. We can do them one-on-one or in a group-type setting. And really, I work with people from across the gamut, from teachers to attorneys to doctors to just a small business owner. And everybody can at some point be comfortable once we let them know it's all about really sharing your story. and go in there with the 3 key points that you want to get across. No matter what question a reporter might ask you, you've got a mission and you've got 3 things you want to get across. So once we work on those things, I think they start feeling a lot more comfortable. Once they see themselves on tape, it becomes second nature as well.
Yeah, and you know, so the name of your company is the Imagen Group, and Imagen obviously is the Spanish language word for image. So what is the relationship between Spanish language or Latinos and your company? I mean, you have a focus there, I would assume then.
Yes, and I get that question asked oftentimes, and it's very deliberate, even when you look at my brand and my logo and the N. You know, so we know image is in English, Imagen in Spanish. We know first impressions are critical. You don't get a second chance to make a great first impression. And when you look at my logo, the N, they're 2 separate distinct colors. An orange-red, the top one, and then the grayish-brown on the bottom. And that really defines basically bridging 2 cultures, 2 languages that are being connected. So we're connecting the English language and the Spanish language for those companies who want to target the Hispanic market. And we know that that is a big market that everybody wants to get their hands on. So we offer an array of services. We call them visibility solutions to help raise the visibility of a company. And we do that through offering integrated marketing and communication strategies. So that could be anything from traditional media relations, which was, you know, picking up the phone and connecting with our friends at ABC TV, at the LA Times, L'Opinion, or reaching out to bloggers through social media, or doing something that's very important. You guys there at Pan American Bank have done a great job, is really the grassroots community outreach. Nothing beats companies, no matter your size, getting out there in the community and touching hands and connecting with people who are your potential consumers.
To everything, from organizing at community level all the way to BC interviews and all that kind of stuff. I mean, and it makes sense. I mean, you have it seems to me a lot of folks have the grassroots experience, but not everyone has the experience working at the network television level, and so it would make sense to me that you guys offer that as a service. Now, let me ask you this one question. So you work with this particular Hispanic community. What is a typical, let's say a typical community-based small business? How can they utilize services that your company offers? I mean, what's a typical offering that you might provide to them?
Let's try to customize it. Give me an example of a type of business, and then we can even include the social media component to that. So say, for instance, are we a retailer? Do we sell clothes? Are we a restaurant?
Yeah, let's say quickly, a retailer.
Okay, so a retail outlet, and they've been in business. They're trying to connect then with, say, they're a mom and pop in the community, correct?
Yeah.
So with them, we would look at to see is what is it that you're trying to accomplish. Obviously, in their cases, they're trying to foot traffic into their brick and mortar. They might have an online business, and they want people to purchase things. They might want to be able to capture then email addresses because they want to be sending out information to the potential customers on sales. So we look at and kind of assess a 360 on what are they currently doing, what would they like to accomplish, and what are the 3 things they want to accomplish, because obviously we can't accomplish everything at once. We try to go after the low-hanging fruit. What is the easiest thing we should do? So first of all, we need to make sure that they do have a website, because no matter if you're using social media, you always have your website. That is your home. We don't know, tomorrow that Facebook might impose a huge fine, not a fine, but a rate, and then you won't be able to really pay that. And you've been depending on driving all your business from social media. So you want to make sure that we have the website. So we want, if they don't have a website, then we work with them on creating a website with the appropriate content that's going to really connect with their audience. In this case, I'm going to assume it's a women retailer. So there'll be things, the visuals, the pictures are very critical. People connect to pictures. That would be something that would connect with their audience. Then we would recommend in terms of social media, you can't do everything at once, especially when you're a small business owner. You might be doing everything yourself. So where is your consumer hanging out? Where is your consumer being social? So I would say something like a retailer, clothing retailer, optimal would be Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. We know that Pinterest scores really high with women. And then we would look at in terms of what they might be doing in the community already. Are there some things where they can engage the audience so that the audience can see them, audience being their community? And then from there, we take it a step further in terms of seeing, do we do any advertising? Advertising, what we're seeing right now is a lot of folks doing that via Facebook. So again, it's hard to look at things as a one size fits all, and we look at everybody on an individual basis. What are their needs, and what are they trying to accomplish, and what are the things that we can target, the low hanging fruit.
Angelica, this is Aaron Sanchez. I have a question, because your target is, as you mentioned, the bringing businesses and letting them know how to reach out, especially to the Hispanic market. What's the difference between hitting the Hispanic market and any other type of market?
Well, we know with Latinos in general, we're social people to begin with, and which is why we're probably gravitating to the use of social media. We over-index, whether you're male, female, whether you're a millennial, whether you're an adult grandparent, you're using social media. So that is what you're going to be encouraging, that the businesses really utilize that, making sure their websites are optimized for mobile usage, especially within women in particular. They really are using social in a way to get information, get coupons. Latinos as well, they tend to rely on word-of-mouth recommendations.
You posted on your website something about Latinos and smartphones, an interesting statistic that I was unaware of. Yes. I believe, is it 77% of Latinos have a smartphone?
Yes, 77% is correct. And I actually heard a comment, there was another day, a developer was talking, he goes, if I look across, the grounds and I talk to somebody and I have side-by-side somebody who is a Latino working on my team and a Caucasian, I can assure you that the Latino is going to have a brand new, latest model smartphone, and the other guy's going to have a old beat-up phone. So that definitely is a way to target Latinos. If you're not, using that as a means of connecting with Latinos, you're missing out. And right there, the importance of the website being optimized for mobile, because that's the way that most Latinos access their information is via the internet, and they're not using a desktop or a laptop. They're using their mobile phones.
That's true. The whole concept of a response site is all I'm hearing over and over and over again, and that's very true. So, Angelica, if there are small business owners out there that want to reach out to you to get your advice and possibly work with you in developing their brand or maybe some coaching strategies, how would they reach out to you?
I'll give you a couple of places they can check. First of all, I'd love to have them like our Facebook page, the Imagen Group on Facebook. They can also reach out to me directly on LinkedIn. That's another thing. Last thing I want to encourage all business owners, you must have a LinkedIn page. That is a foundation. That's how people are going to find you and do their homework on you. So connect with me on LinkedIn at Angelica Urquijo. Our email address is info@theimagengroup.com. I'll spell that, which is THEIMAGENGROUP.com. Phone number is 626-765-3553, and we're in the midst of actually redoing our website. So you'll have a two-page website, and we're going to include a lot of the video and things like that, which we know that is of interest and information that people can use, news and info that they can use.
Angelica, thank you for joining us today on Money Talk.
Thank you, Jesse. It's been a pleasure.
Well, we want to hear back from you in the coming future and find out how things are going at the Imagen Group. But in the meantime, thanks for joining us, and we will be back with Money Talk after these messages. Back to Money Talk. I'm Jesse Torres.
And I'm Aaron Michael Sanchez.
So, Aaron, all right, the Imagen Group. That was some great stuff.
It was very good. You could tell not only has she progressed as a professional. I saw some of her reporting, and people think, well, okay, they're great in front of the camera, they're great as reporting, but they underestimate all of the things that it takes to get there. And branding yourself, businesses, especially small businesses, I think that's one of the issues that they have, which is why they only go so far. People don't remember them.
You're right. And I've been in front of the camera a few times. I've been interviewed both in English and Spanish for podcasts, and I can tell you that being interviewed is bad enough, but when you have to sort of lead that entire segment, and it's it's unscripted. I mean, they have maybe some bullet points in their mind, but most of it is shooting from the hip. And when you see these folks on TV just flow, just kind of get through that information, you almost forget that this stuff is not scripted, that it's happening live in many cases right in front of them. But because they're such professionals, they actually are very engaging. And so that was an incredibly engaging interview. And I'm glad that she made some time to speak with us on air today.
Yeah, absolutely. I like the fact that she said keep 3 topics in mind. Those are the 3 points you want to hit no matter what you're asked. Those are the 3 topics. And I think that's important for our attorney, which is coming up.